the shadow Brexit secretary outlined Labour's latest Brexit strategy, claiming the party wants a bespoke deal with Brussels, where the UK remains closely tied to the EU's single market, but do not want a deal similar to Norway, which he said has real problems. But the BBC host hit back at the claim and said, "That's what Norman Smith famously described on this program as CAKEISM. The idea that you could have a bespoke deal is, you know, having your cake and eating it." In response, Sir Keir told BBC Radio 4's Today program, "When I first announced that we should have transitional measures on the same terms as now, which I did last summer, well, everybody said that's just cake and eat it. It's now accepted as the only sensible base of a transition." BBC Brexit News, Keir Starmer said Labour do not want Norway deal. "Listen to what the EU negotiators are saying." Martha Kearney Miss Kearney blasted, "But this is far more fundamental, isn't it?" The Labour frontbencher responded and said the party was accused of having their cake and eating it when they proposed a customs union membership, adding, "The government knows that if that proposition is put to a vote it is going to lose it. So, I take this with a little bit of a pinch of salt. We do want full access to the single market. We don't make any apologies for that. That is what business needs. We don't need to give up on it without a fight, which is what the government have done." But the BBC host pointed out there has been a fight, using the example of David Cameron's EU renegotiations and the current Brexit negotiations. She said, "What you are talking about is the EU having to give up what they regard as the fundamental freedoms of the European Union on freedom of movement, on the single market itself, on the rules of the single market." Sir Keir said, "They are not even fighting for a customs union. For fear of the negotiations, they are not fighting for it. Secondly, what's in the announcement made yesterday is that we accept that shared institutions and shared regulations, common standards are essential if you are to get full access. So, it's not cake and eat it, because it's saying we know what the benefit is and we know what the obligation is that goes with it." But the BBC hit back and said Labour must listen to what the EU negotiators are saying, referencing the EU's Brexit negotiator Michel Barnier's comments where he stated goods and services will be unavoidable outside of the single market. The Labour MP claimed the EU had said time and time again that if Prime Minister Theresa May's red lines change then there is a different negotiation to be had. He hinted that Labour will be heading for an EU-style Brexit strategy, adding, "It is clear that what they mean by that is that if we signal that we want a close economic relationship with the EU going forward, there is a conversation and negotiation to be had. And it will involve some of the tools in the Norway-style toolbox." Norway is a member of the European Free Trade Association, EFTA, meaning Oslo pays for access to the single market. EFTA includes Norway, Switzerland, Iceland and Liechtenstein. Norway is also a member of the European Economic Area, EEA, which provides the free movements of persons, goods, services and capital within the single market. On Monday, Labour frontbenchers tabled a string of amendments to the government's EU withdrawal bill designed to keep Britain closely linked to Brussels. Mrs May is set to face pressure from pro-Remain MPs next week as the House of Commons debates the amendments to her Brexit bill. Her aim is to get her Brexit legislation through in just 12 hours on June 12.